Hey, what's up guys? This is TBone here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So the event Cosmic Constriction had just finished, and also with that we have now our 3 upgrades. We've upgraded our Generation 2 Legends, our Cudgels are now 2 stars, and we also now have the Korelium Legend Trial unlocked. And that's what I'm going to focus on today, because I wanted to take a look at what this new trial boss is like, and what we need to do in order to take it down. Now, I've already seen some screenshots from different people who have tried it out, and it looks like the Terror Aegis is going to be on all of these bosses. And for those of you who don't know, a Terror Aegis is essentially a new sort of a new add-on to bosses that will make your battle skills disappear every single turn. This was something that was added, a long time ago, but it wasn't in chromatic bosses, but it's not something that you see too often, so I'm sure that it will be a challenge for many of us. Now, we can also see that since we now have the 2-star cudgels, if you wanted to actually upgrade it to 3 stars, you're going to need to go through the Korelium Bosses in order to actually get the item that you need. So I have the cudgels now, and if I wanted to upgrade it to 3-star, you can take a look at the requirements here. You do still need to have all of the same items, so you still need to have the various parts from all of the bosses, and also you need to have 4 cores. So instead of a single core, you need to have 4 cores, and you also need to have this new thing, which is an ascended ingot, which you can only get by doing the Korelium boss. So let's go through the Korelium boss. Let's go ahead and summon one and then see how we do. So we're going to try, I think we're going to go ahead and try Rilka. Okay, now in order to actually summon, you need to also have at least 250 tokens. So it's a big investment, and so compared to normal, where just 50, you need to have 250 in order to summon. So I haven't actually been doing the legend bosses for a while, so I do have enough. And so we're going to go ahead and summon Rilka, and then we're going to talk about the team that we're going to try and use. So we're going to take a look at how hard they hit, what cards you should be using, and also what the strategy is. Now, Korelium Bosses essentially is just the same as a regular golden trial boss, so you can still use a Generation 2 card, and that is still going to be more useful if you use as a leader. So if you take a look at, for example, a dark, I'm going to use Bounty Hunter because that's easier. So Aerolus Demon is one I have at 5 stars. I could almost get her to 6 stars, and they will give you a nice boost, right? So it gives you 2300% damage and recovery and health for all heroes in Legend Trials. Okay, and so immediately you're already gaining a lot of damage output just by having this as a leader, and then it can also reduce more of the armor quickly. And so the team that I'm going to be trying, actually, I've been sort of playing around, and I think I'm probably going to use this team, because when you're dealing with Terror Aegis, you can't use battle skills. So if you can't use battle skills, then the only thing you're left with is really your passive abilities, which this is going to be a really good card for, because every 3 turns you're going to get additional power gems. In this case, it'll be 5 power gems. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch out this team right here so that I can use my Aerolus Demon as a leader. It's a 5-star, so it's not it's not as good as it could be, but I think that it will be helpful because I do get a lot more power boost from it, and I couldn't really use the beast bonus either. I do have a beast killer card, but it's Slayer, so it won't actually help my my commander cards. So let's go ahead and try this out. So this is level 1. We're gonna go ahead and switch our team right now so that we actually can use the right team to take it on. I also have other teams that I sort of built. This is the version for Sentry Storm, actually. So I'll try that afterwards. All right, so let's go ahead and use Big Boss, and we also not this one. Sorry, we're going to use. Yes, this is the one. We're gonna go ahead and name this Rilka. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use the Rilke team. We're going to use the 3 keys, and we're going to see if we're able to deal enough damage to take this out and how many attacks it needs. So it looks like it has 1 trillion health, okay? But I do have a lot of health right now. Look, I have 6 million health right now. And so instead of taking down the armor by 1 every single turn, I'm taking it by 3. So that will actually really speed up the amount of, that actually also speeds up how long it takes for me to take down the boss. Now, Rilke, you can see here there's Aegis, the Terror Aegis, so I can't actually activate every, I build up my battle skill, but then they all get drained every single turn. So here you can see though, I do have enough power gem spawning ability with just these cards. Now I have 60 seconds to do so, and I'm curious if this is going to, it's going to work. And the other thing that I'm kind of curious right now is also whether the timing is going to be, work out. I think every 4 turns, Rilke will turn all of the cards to light. And so with my team, every 3 turns, I'm also generating power gems. And so I have, I actually am able to deal quite a bit of damage. You saw there, I was able to deal 108 damage just by my glorious golems. And so this is definitely going to be a team that I can use to easily take out the boss. And so I'm going to just go ahead and continue. Now, this is only possible because I'm able to bring in the Generation 2 Legend. Okay, so typically it's not something that I normally use. I normally use other cards that I feel are a little bit better. But in this particular situation, it actually pays to use a Generation 2 card, a Legend card, so that you can get more damage boost. So you can see basically 2300% damage boost. It does make a difference. Okay, and so let's go ahead and so because of the way that the because of the way the Rilke actually converts everything to light, it also really screws up the cards, the gem matches. So I think I'm gonna have to wait one more cycle for the passive ability to kick in, and then we're gonna be good to go. So we're gonna wait for this turn, and then we're gonna be able to spawn passively all the power gems. And now we're going to go ahead and do a power gem swap, and you can see the amount of damage that we can deal here is significantly higher, and I think that we can actually take it out here. So level 1, even though it is Terror Aegis, if you have these type of cards, you shouldn't have any issues still. Okay, so now this Golem deck, I believe, will still be available in the next Dark Commander event, so there's a revival pack for it, so you'll still be able to get it. So you still have a chance to pick up. You still have a chance to be able to get a a deck that can take out the Korelium Bosses. So let's take a look and see what we got. So we got our Scale, Rilke Eye, we got a Core and Bone and Tooth, but we didn't get the actual Ascended Ingot. I expected that because it is supposed to be a lot harder. Now we can also try another team. So let's go ahead and try summoning. We can go ahead and summon the Sentry Storm, I think, because I have another team that I can also use. Again, this also bases on the fact that I have a card that can passively generate power gems. So this one, Making You, is also the previous Earth Slayer deck that every time you have a power gem on the board, it goes ahead and creates 6 power gems on the board. So with these 2, that's 12. And I do have also a Generation 2 Legend card. And so I'm going to go ahead and get one back from the Codex. Okay. And so let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to go take a look at the Codex, and we're going to look at Generation 2, and we're going to look at Bounty Hunter Earth. And so it looks like I can use either Cyrano's or Kate Dia, and I'm going to go ahead and buy back Cyrano. So this is a basic 4-star Cyrano's, and all of them have been boosted, right? So if you take a look here, this is a 4-star one, and it gives you 22% damage boost. This is a lot better than you can get even with killer bonus. And if you can get the killer bonus, that's even better. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to now take that card and I'm going to place it in. I'm going to swap this for a Earth Bounty Hunter, and I think we can just go ahead and do that. And of course, as you evolve your legend cards, it's going to be better and better. And here is a card that I have that is a beast. This is actually chaotic kill. So for Sentry Storm, you want to use Chaotic Killer. So now I'm going to get 400% damage boost on top of the 100% damage boost. I'm expecting this to be a lot easier, so we're going to go ahead and summon. Sentry Storm here, and let's go and do a battle. 250 coins. It really is a big deal. So it means it's going to take at least a couple of events, a few, to save up enough. I would say 3 or 4 events, really. If you don't have any, it's going to take a while. So it's a very big investment. So before you use your coins, make sure that you have the right setup to be able to take out the boss. Okay. And we're going to use this team right here. And I already set up my relics here so that I also made sure that I used a couple of these lances that boost Immortal Killer, because I expect to be able to deal more damage with the Making You cards. But again, I'm not going to be able to use any of the nuke damage from this deck. Okay, so all I did is focus on cards that can give me passive spawn ability, which I'm going to be able to get from Making You and the Verdant Druid, as well as my Hard-Won Gorillas. They all passively spawn gems. And I'm also getting the damage boost from my ultimate form, Unbreakable Sisterhood, so that I should be able to deal a lot more damage here. And it's going to be a little bit faster because I'm going to be able to take out 2 armor every single hit instead of 1, so it speeds it up. So this is definitely a lot better compared to before. Generation 2 cards really weren't that good of a selection because it didn't give you the kind of damage boost that we used to see. And so this with this increase, it definitely is going to be to your advantage to use. So you definitely should use it, because if you don't, you're already unable to use battle skills, right? And so if you can't do that, then you have to be able to boost your damage somewhere else, and that's going to come from your the leader skill of your Generation 2 Legends. All right, so now that we are at we're at 0 here, and the thing with this deck is that it generates a slight, it depends on sort of like how my my turns line up, because my Hard-Won Gorillas will create passively power gems as well every, I think, 4 turns or so, or every 3 turns, whereas this one is every turn. So then every 3 turns or so, I'm going to get a little bit more damage output. And you can see here 2 hits in, and I'm already pretty close to taking it out. And so I think with this, I should be able to deal enough damage and take it out. So actually the Earth team was a lot easier than even the Dark one. And that is because I had also a killer bonus. So having the killer bonus, having the Generation 2 Legends combination, it will actually make this really easy, as long as you have some cards that can create power gems. Some of the other cards that can also give you power gems. So that's Storm Core. So now we can get lots of core, so that's good. So if you can if you're still missing the regular cudgels, looks like you probably can go after these, and you're going to be able to get cores, because the ingot is now the one that's going to be super hard to find. Okay, and so the last thing I want to try is, what if you don't have those really strong cards? Something else that you could do is, for example, Fire is another one that I have, so we can try something else, right? So we can try this. We can do a deck that uses your Generation 1 Legends, all right? And so if you have something like this, so we can do 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to also put in a Generation to legend here and make her leader. So again, this is going to be a card that will give me a 22% damage boost, and each of these Ascended Rays will give me 4 power gems every 4 turns. So it's not going to be a huge amount, but it is something. And if I also combine that with a card that has ability to create power gems, or I can use an ultimate form. So if I have a let's say fire, and this is going to be Beast Killer. So there is no Beast Killer here. I don't have any Beast Killer, so that's going to be an issue. But we can also take a look here. So this card, Circuit Break Hilaria, also creates Power Gem 3s. And so what we could do is we could probably change this up a little bit. Okay. And we can probably go ahead and swap this for Circuit Break Hilaria. So this is the case where I actually don't have a ultimate form here, but I am, using a 4-star Gen 2 legend here, and I'm helping out with my other cards that, like Ray Quarrel, for example, creates 4 power gem once every 4 turns. Hilaria does it every 4 turns as well? If it's every 4 turns, then that lines up nicely. No, this is every 3 turns. So we're going to have an issue where we can't really line them up, but I want to see how well we can do with this setup here. So I want to make sure that we have the right, I want to make sure that we actually also have the right relics, and it looks like I should be fine. I should be fine here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and change my relic so that I am not using these ones, because these ones will work only if I have Fire Slayer hero. That increases arcane intensity, so this one is okay. But they will boost only arcane heroes, and I think that should be okay. And then I have also a raise staff. So let's go ahead and give this a try. We're going to go ahead and summon this time. This time we're going to go ahead and summon Quetzalcoatl. So we're going to go ahead and summon it. And so the basic strategy is to use any cards at your disposal that you can find that also has passive abilities. If I were to summon the dark card, I would also be using this team, for example, right? So like just any cards that you use that you can find that will be able to give you power gem spawns. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and use 3 key attack here. So you still have the same tokens, 24 tokens that basically will take about a week to refill. And I think, at least for the first few levels, this shouldn't be too hard, as long as you can use these cards. Now, Hilaria is a card that was easily accessible to many people, and hopefully you have also done some, investment to actually ascend your Generation 1 Legend cards, because they're still useful. And it looks like the challenge here is that I don't actually have a good passive spawn ability, and so at least what we can do is we can try and wait it out. Okay, and so we have a couple more hits, and now we need to try and wait until the turns actually align, because one will spawn every 3 turns and the other one spawns every 4 turns. So this one's going to be a little bit more difficult. I'm going to see how this works out. All right, so the armor is now completely depleted, and I want to see if I don't want to clear this just yet, because I think I could still get more power gems out of this. And you also want to be careful when actually of when the Quetzalcoatl is also invulnerable. So there's also something to watch out for. All right, so we can probably do this. let's see how much damage we can deal here. We actually spent a lot more time this time. And so this deals a lot less damage. So we can, so this is something that we will be aware of, that this particular setup deals less damage because we can't really line up the power gems nicely. Okay, so we're gonna have to think about another combination that will work here. Although I'm gonna continue to wait for the power gems to spawn passively here. And so this one looks more decent. Okay, so this one looks like it should deal a little bit more damage here, because they lined up pretty well. Okay, so not as much as we were used to seeing, but this is not too bad given that we are using, we're just using regular legend cards and also a couple of event cards here. So like not quite like as strong as the cards I was showing earlier. And it is going to take more hits, but if we're able to deal at least, a third or so, that actually helps out here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do this one more time. And so remember, like, before, the goal here is not to one-shot these bosses, but if you have enough tokens to be able to take out over the course of 3 or 4 hits. So for example, in this particular case, this team is capable of taking down Quetzalcoatl in about 3 hits. Okay, I expect that I should be able to take it out in about three hits or so. 3 attacks, really, is what I mean. I just want to line up one more nice set of power gems if I can, and see how much we can deal here. So 1.79 remaining, and looks like we're gonna be able to get it to just about half. Okay, so we can deal almost half damage here, and so this is going to be, depending on my second attack, whether I get some better matches or not, I might be able to deal enough damage to take it out. So not quite enough to deal enough damage, but I wanted to show that even if you don't take it out the first time, remember you have more tokens that you can still go through and you can take it out in a couple of tries. Okay, and so that's going to be it for today's episode. So this is the Korelium trial boss. Not much different than the golden trial boss, except that it costs a ton more to actually summon, and the Terror Aegis can be a really difficult thing to deal with unless you have cards that can passively spawn power gems. If you can find those, use them, combine them with the Generation 2 Legend card. I think that the buff definitely made it a lot more, a lot better to use. So definitely take advantage of them. It is going to be much better now. So use those combinations, and you should be able to pass the first few levels of the bosses. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can comment down below in the video, or you can always reach out to me in the network app. Look for TBone on the network app, and you should be able to find me. So thanks a lot for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.